front-end addition strategy, and it is my favorite strategy for addition. This one really helps students understand the place value of numbers, what each digit means within the number. So the first thing we do is we start and we add the hundreds. So this is 347, so I know within this number it's 300 plus 40 plus 7. And within this number, 286, I know that it's 200 plus 80 plus 6. It can be many other different things, but for this strategy, I just need it to be the numbers that are in the actual place value. So 300 plus 200 is where I start. And 300 plus 200 is, of course, 500. I've added my hundreds, now I'm going to add my tens. I've got 4 tens here, which is 40. And as I write the 40 underneath the 300, I'm making sure to keep that lined up within the proper place value. So I have 40 plus 80, and I'm going to make sure that that stays within its proper place value as well, so that it all lines up: hundreds, tens, ones, hundreds, tens, ones. I've got 40 plus 80. When I look at this, I think 80 plus, I'm going to take 20 from this 40 and make this 100. So 100 plus 20 is the same as 40 plus 80, which is 120. Students can look at that in many different ways. They have their own strategy of figuring out what 40 plus 80 is. Some might be the point where they say, okay, I have 80 in my head, I'm going to add jumps of 10. 90, 100, 110, 120. Whatever kind of works for them, moving towards the most efficient strategy as they practice and get better. So 40 plus 80 is 120. And I'm making sure to keep that in the right place values, the hundreds, the tens, and the ones. Now I have my units left, so 7 plus 6. The 7 goes in the ones place, and the 6 goes in the ones place over here. 7 plus 6 is a basic fact, and we're all practicing those facts every single night, so I know right away that 7 and 6 is 13. And as I record that, I'm making sure that I keep it in the proper place value. Everything lined up to make it kind of nice and neat for the students. If by chance, sometimes students line them up incorrectly and they don't have a good sense of what they're doing, so they end up adding a 10 as 100 or 100 as a 10 or vice versa, things like that. So I broke this 347 up into 300 plus 40 plus 7 to make the math easier for me. Same thing I did here with the 286. Because I broke it up, I have to kind of put the answers, the sums of these individual ones, back together to get the total answer. So sometimes in my class we do 347 plus 286. Just to remind us what the question was so we're not forgetting it. This part right here you don't have to do. I just sometimes like my students to remember what we were doing when we were breaking apart this number. And then I add up my, my sums. 500 plus 100 is 600. 20 plus 10 is 30, so the 3 goes in the 10 spot. And I've got 0 units plus 0 units plus 3 units, which is 3 units. So 347 plus 286 is the same as 633. This does sometimes look like a lot of extra math, but really, truly, it's my preferred one because the kids really understand what those numbers mean, that 4 is not just a 4, it's 40.